Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Wednesday weather update recorded on the 2nd of October. And it's good to be back. Let's get into the forecast for the country. We've got this big area of high pressure moving away, the one that we had over the top of New Zealand on Monday. Now it is well out to the east, and that placement encourages this airflow from around Samoa and Tonga and Fiji and drives it down into New Zealand. On the other side of the map, another big high over Tasmania, and that is dredging up a southerly. So just like when you're trying to spin a coin or a top on a surface, you need that twisting motion. You got the northerly here, southerly here, and in the middle, it's being twisted. There is your low pressure zone forming, and that's going to deepen over the next couple of days, driving in wind and rain. Some of that wind today coming down as that northerly at one end of the country, colder southerlies at the other. So rainfall, this is taking us through till Monday of next week. This map could still move around a little bit. When you get these big large lows that form, the rain bands often start to get fractured and they break up a wee bit, and the mountains and ranges across the country then either hold it up for some places, making it wetter than usual, and for others it can stop the rain altogether. So at the moment this is the current thinking, and that's quite a bit of rain around many parts of New Zealand. West Coast, plenty of rain over there, up around the northwest corner as well, going in towards Tasman, Golden Bay, Nelson. We've also got this heavy rain around Waitomo and King Country area, quite a bit. That's talking 100 to maybe 200 millimetres between now and just Monday. But look at the eastern side here, not much in the way of rain, potentially only 0 to 5 to 10 millimetres. Now, like I say, all it takes is sort of those rain bands to move around slightly differently, or the airflow to move slightly, and that can all change. But the current thinking, it's been looking a bit like this for a few days now. There's one area that does stand out to me. It doesn't really jump out on the map necessarily, but this area down here in the yellow and even some hints of orange, that is a lot of rain, 100 to 200 millimetres. The higher levels going up above 100 are more likely to be higher up. But you know, you're seeing some decent rain here around Dunedin, around the Catlins. Obviously that spills over further into parts of Southland and Otago, and that could cause some issues because it doesn't take a lot of rain along the eastern side of New Zealand to cause some issues. So please do keep up to date with the Met Service warnings and watches. So lunchtime Thursday, the high moves further away to the east. The next high over Australia drifts in a little bit closer to New Zealand, but you might notice it's starting to sort of go southwards. Rather than coming in straight to the east, it's kind of slipping southwards, trying to sort of link arms up with this other high. Now the main one here, stretching all the way up, as I say, into the tropics, there is that warm airflow. Now, if you've tracked the actual origins, it starts to curve back in and into that southeastern corner of the South Island. So the top of New Zealand, not into that subtropical airflow so much, other than maybe the very east here, but really it's coming down and feeding further in towards that lower part of the South Island. That's where we could be seeing some heavy rain over the next day or two or three as that low pressure zone in the Tasman continues to spiral around. But there are these large dry areas too, so not everyone is going to be having wet weather all the time. By Friday, the high from Tasmania slinks down here to the south. That shuts off that southerly feed that was coming into it, lifts up temperatures a wee bit further for those of you in the south, and your airflow is still mild, still coming down on the back of that high. This airflow here, mild from the subtropics, feeding into Southland and Otago and even parts of Canterbury. But there may be some very large dry areas around on Friday. Keep up to date with your forecasts. The ones we've got at Weather Watch update every hour, and that's useful when you've got events like this. And you know, each update, it just shifts it around a wee bit, but you start to get it fine-tuned the closer to the day you are. So on Saturday, the low in the Tasman finally starts to weaken and fall apart. The high out to the east, pretty much in the same spot, perhaps a little further to the east now. Subtropical winds and rain coming in, or showers, I should say, around the Chathams. And in the North Island, in comes the next front, falls apart pretty quickly. Might be some isolated heavy falls or even a thunderstorm or two, kind of that warm spring-like feeling once the nor'westers come back in. So we've got a few showers, perhaps increasing as we go through Saturday, returning to the northwest corner. But the good news, if you live in Southland and Otago, many of you are sick of the rain, it should ease. And a similar story for much of the west coast as well. You've got larger dry spells returning. I've had more complaints from Westland and Southland over the last few weeks than any other region. Please, when will the rain stop? That's the question I'm getting. Hopefully it starts to dry out further on Saturday and on Sunday as well. The low has pretty much gone on Sunday. A little bit of it left over here around the eastern side of offshore from Canterbury. But in the North Island, nor'westers and showers. Eastern areas will be mild. In fact, everywhere is pretty much mild on Sunday. And as we go to Monday, our final map, those westerly winds, they are returning. Spring style, of course. Showers along the west here. And we've got 1, 2, 3 lows down to the south. So low pressure to the south, high pressure to the north. Spring-like weather in between. Windy westerlies, although they're not overly windy, but they'll be a little bit brisk to the north of the country and a little bit around Cook Strait, the usual kind of setup. So there we go. That is all from me for today. Don't forget our Climate Watch update is out this afternoon. We'll take a longer range look at what is on the way for our part of the world. We'll see you then.